The matter of the YPG and PYD and the SDF in general has been a point of contention between Washington and Ankara for quite some time, indeed, since 2015. To what degree do you see this as a legitimate demand of Turkey that the United States pull backwards? Of course, just earlier this week, and if I may quote, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan noted following a cabinet meeting, and I quote, the due date of these terrorists has now passed, as their concrete tunnels in which they take refuge today will soon become their graves. Neither the countries they trust so much nor the terror barons who put their lives on the market will be able to save them from the tragic fate that awaits at the end. Of course, very vigorous threats towards the Kurdish elements in northern Syria. Is this something that truly concerns the United States, or will the U.S. forces on the ground, in cooperation, of course, with U.S. Command, manage to somehow delay or put a line for Turkey in its anticipated offensive?
Well, I think we will, as we did with Operation Olive Branch in 2019, I believe it was, set up deconfliction mechanisms between the Turkish forces and our own forces. The worst possible thing we could have would be two NATO allies fighting each other. But I'd like to expand the conversation a little bit more. I thought that was an excellent presentation by our colleague from Ankara. The United States view, of course, is that while the YPG, now called the SDF, may not be the most wholesome of allies to have, I think it's important to remember that during World War II, we aligned ourselves with the Russians to defeat the Germans. So I think we recognize that this is a temporary, transactional, and tactical relationship. Although that's our policy, we haven't been completely true to that policy. And Turkey does have a legitimate concern for their national security interests, most recently seen by the bombing inside of Istanbul proper at a very, very heavily traveled tourist area in Taksim Square. So this is one of those difficulties that I think is even more complicated by this unique relationship we have with our military command plans, our unified command plan. And the counter-ISIS campaign is being run by Central Command. But Turkey is part of the European Command. So there is even disagreement between the European Command and our own Central Command on the best way to handle this problem. Clearly, Turkey is a NATO ally. It's been a long-standing ally. It's fought side by side with us as far back as the Korean War. It's been instrumental in its support for Ukraine, primarily with its Bayraktar drones that they have provided.